All right, you guys, welcome back to another episode of It Ends With Us. I am Brittany Wilder. I'm a wealth and wellness energy healer, and I help divorced women reclaim their identity, and I help them come back with their confidence, their peace, and their divine power. And I have another special guest this week, you guys. Each week we talk about breaking down generational curses and talking about different tools and things that we can do in order to move forward. So I'm going to let my guest introduce herself, Miss Lisa Stringer Bailey.
Hello, how are you today? Thank you so much for having me on your show. I appreciate you, Miss Brittany. My
Yes, ma'am.
name is Lisa Stringer Bailey. I am the owner of Triple M Money Management Matters. It is a financial services company that educates women on how to make more money, save more money, and most importantly, protect their money. And we protect our money with life insurance. I'm also a life insurance professional. So life insurance is my purpose, my passion, my ministry is to educate on the importance of having life insurance, not only as a death benefit, but also as living benefits and as a way of leaving financial legacy to our children and our children's children.
Lisa, I'm so excited to get you on my podcast because this is such an important topic, right? We're talking about protect not only just having our money and making money, but protecting it. Like that's so important. So I am going to go ahead and start with the questions that I usually ask. So, Miss Lisa, what is that generational curse, cycle, habit, pattern that you saw that you knew you had to break?
Wow, it is the financial education. Okay. In my family, I realized it at the death of my father. This is how I came about my business, Triple M Money Management Matters. Is because when my father died, he had no life insurance to speak of, anything to that he left behind to take care of final expenses or to even take care of his property, his assets. So I realized from that point that we're not educated on just those. I say simple now because I know about it, but at the time it wasn't simple. It's a curse for some reason. We don't want to talk about finances openly, right?
Right,
We don't want to talk about dying openly. We don't want to talk about, well, what is your wishes for when the time comes for end of life? Do you want to be buried? Do you want to be cremated? Do you want your property sold? Or do you want to pass down your property to your children or even your grandchildren? What do you want? That conversation is just so taboo in the African American culture, I do believe. And so, therefore, I didn't know what my father wanted. I had no idea because we never, ever discussed it. So, the curse that I want to break and that I am breaking now is the conversation, the communication. It's not a bad thing to talk about death. I mean, as Christians, if we're Christians, if that is your religion or whatever, if you believe that we are going to heaven one day, right? Then we also believe that we're going to die. Okay. And that we want to be able to leave a financial blessing, some financial resources to the family that we're leaving behind. Okay. When we die, we're not taking our family with us,
oh,
right?
that's
Hopefully,
right.
prayerfully, we don't want to die, but we know that it's going to happen. And the thing about it is, we don't know when it's going to happen. It could happen in the next 5 minutes, or it can happen in the next 50 years. We don't know. But my prayer is that we would be more prepared for it, more
Right,
prepared. So that's another generational curse. We're not prepared for our future. We're not
mm,
even, most of us, not even prepared for our retirement. What are we
right.
going to do when we're not working anymore? What are we going to do when we hit that 65 and we got this mindset that, oh, my Social Security going to take care of it? Really?
Woo, Lord,
Okay, well,
we
that's
don't
a
know.
whole nother story. But I'm here to tell you, we got
Right,
to change our mindset. So that's another generational curse I am trying to break is the mindset. We got to think more of well, what if this don't happen? What if Social Security ain't there? What am I going to do? Do I want to live the same lifestyle I'm living today when I turn 65 and 75? If I do, I got to prepare today. It's all about the preparation. So I know that was a lot,
No,
but
but it's so good. Like just hearing you talk about the different reasons, like you seeing it personally when your father passed and recognizing like, oh, this is a problem. Like we didn't
yeah,
talk about any of the wishes or any of the things like that.
yeah.
And in my family, my mother, she passed away and she told us her wishes, but we didn't have the life insurance or the money to plan it out, right?
Oh,
So I
right,
think my
right.
dad, because my dad really showed up for her funeral. He really paid for everything, but we
Yeah.
didn't have any money. She didn't have any life insurance. She told us everything
Wow.
she wanted to happen. So we had
Yeah.
that part down, but it was just the financial piece, which is so important.
Yes.
We're not prepared
Yes.
for that. So
We're
I'm
not prepared.
so happy you're bringing us to the forefront because we need
Mhm.
to start having those conversations. And I know it's kind of weird, it throws us off a little bit talking about how people want to, go through their funeral arrangements and what that looks like, but we have to do it. We
Yeah.
have to do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's a curse, like what we're talking about. And we got to break that. We're in a generation now, 2025, all this information is available to us.
Yes.
Okay? And instead of sticking our head in the sands, we got to
Mm,
come up. We got to think differently and we got to make it our focus. Which
right.
okay. So
I love that. I love that. All right. So we're gonna move forward to our next question. Thank you for answering that. And some of this was already answered in there, but how did that pattern show up in your life? Like, is there any times
mhm.
where you experienced it, and what was the moment you realized that it had to stop with you? Like, you're like, we're not passing this down again. It was like a defining
Right.
moment for you.
Right. Okay. So this is a perfect question because not only did it happen to my father when he passed away, we didn't have life insurance. My sister, God
Mm.
rest her soul, which is my business, Triple M, is actually named from my sister. Her name was Marsha Michelle Millsap, the three M's, and she
Oh,
had a car tag that said Triple M. So actually, 2 months after my father died, my sister passed away as well. Now, my sister had MS. So when you have a disease or illness like that, it's hard to get life insurance. But now my sister was a very intelligent woman. Okay, she was smart. She was very good with her money, but she had a policy set aside just for her end of life expenses. So we knew what to do when she passed. But what she did not have was insurance enough to take care of her assets, her home, her children, her grandchildren, right? So
right.
her two boys lost their family home because there was no insurance to pay off the mortgage. And how many of y'all know when somebody dies, the mortgage company don't care? They
Yep.
still want that mortgage payment every month, or they're gonna take the house unless somebody can step up and pay the mortgage. Now we all know in 2025 mortgages is $2,000 and up in the
Yep.
nicer homes. Okay,
Right.
so therefore someone has to step in and make that mortgage payment if no life insurance is there. So I tell a lot of my families, especially our young families just buying homes, get you a life insurance policy for the amount of your mortgage. If you got a $200,000 mortgage, you need $200,000 in insurance.
Oh,
Okay, a simple term policy, and those could cost anywhere from $50 a month. Nothing. To make sure that, God forbid, if something happens to you, your family at least will have a roof over their head and they're
hello.
not homeless, right? So that's what I learned. That's another curse that I wanted to break when my sister died without the policy for her home. And then maybe 2 years later, this is during the COVID period, my other sister passed away. She had life insurance, but she only had it at her job. So this is another educational piece, another curse. Just because you got life insurance at your job is not going to cover things on the outside. Like, for
Right.
instance, it's normally just a small amount, maybe 20, 30, $40,000, which is good. But
Yeah.
then again, it's always advisable to have a policy outside of your job, okay? Because nowadays, look, we in 2025. Let me just bring it up again. These
These
jobs
jobs.
ain't loyal, okay? How about what? What was it? 200,000 Black women lost their job this year because of the DEI situation. So we
My
just never know. So if you
right.
lose your job, you lose your insurance.
That's
So therefore, get a policy outside of your job. So after all these instances has happened to me, this is really the reason why I feel like God gave me this ministry, this business, because it happened to me so many times, 4 times to be exact, with different
wow.
situations. And we were not prepared. We were not ready. So therefore, we have really went through financial distresses, financial
Oh,
challenges and struggles because of passing of loved ones. So it's so important that we get that change in our mind, change our mindset, change the things that's been happening in the past, these breakthroughs, and learn and educate ourselves so that we that still living now can pass down better education to our children. Because now I'm telling my children, all my children are covered with life insurance. And I tell them, when God forbid, when something happens to me, this is what you do with the policy. This is what you do with the money. Pay the house off. If the house ain't paid off, pay it off. And so at least you'll have a home to come to. And then if that's not the case, then take the money and invest it. Business, invest it into, so many different things. So yeah, that
like, I'm like, that's so good because people need to hear it. They need to
yeah,
hear it. This happens constantly in a lot of our families. And like you
yeah.
said, these jobs ain't loyal
Mhm.
at all in 2025.
Mm-mm.
Like, it's not going to just work with just that, that job policy that it used to be fine, but
Yeah,
are not the same anymore. And we have to
right.
get more educated about it and do something, put some things in place, like talking to our children and letting them know,
Hmm.
okay, this is the game plan, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
beautiful. All right, Miss Lisa, what are the tools or the practices or the faith strategies that helped you break free? Like, what are the things that you do? I love how you say that this is your purpose and your ministry. Like, this is
Hmm.
what you do. Like, this is not just a
It
job.
really,
This is
yeah,
what God gave me to show my gifts, right?
yeah,
There's something
absolutely.
you walk in that differently when you say this is my ministry or my purpose, right? So, what are
Right.
those different strategies that helped you break through? That helped you become the generational curse breaker when it comes down to this financial thing that people are bad?
Wow. Absolutely. So what this is what the Lord told me as I was talking to a lot of families, about this, about the life insurance. That was my very first thing that I came to people with is you need life insurance. Why you don't have life insurance? You got to have it. Telling my story. And then they would tell me, well, I don't have the money. It's the same story. I can't afford it. After I pay all my bills, the house, the gas, the car, all the things, I have no money left for life insurance. And I was praying, asking God, I said, God, we ain't got no money for life insurance. That's why we ain't got it. But God said, no, that is not true. That's not the answer. The answer is your management. That's why I
Come on.
gave you money management matters. It's how we are managing our money, how we spending our money, how we allocating our money, how we wasting, dare I say, our money, how we're spending frivolously on our money, how we are paying more attention to commercials on TV and letting that stuff drive us to go out and buy things that we really can't afford, like the big houses. God wants
I
us to
love it.
have a house, okay? But who said go out and buy a $500,000 house?
Come on.
No, if you can't afford that, get you $100,000 home, get you a condo, get you a townhome, get you something that you can manage, okay,
Yes.
financially. And let's just go to the cars, okay? God said we ain't got to be driving around in the Mercedes, in the BMWs, in the bodegas, or whatever else they out here flossing in. Listen, if you can only afford a Toyota Camry, $200 a month, $300, whatever that's what you need to be in. Okay. So everybody's situation is different. Listen, I'm not the one to tell you you can't have the finer things in life because you can. And God wants us to have that, but it's got to be in order. You got to
And
be able to afford it. And once you get your savings in place, your investments in place, your retirement in place, your life insurance and things in place, all that's good. Then, if you can still afford the big house and the big car, go for it. Okay. So, the number one thing strategy that I use is money management, showing people how to manage their money, how to budget their money. A lot of people don't want the budget because they think it's restrictive. They don't want to stick to it. Oh, I ain't got time, all the excuses. But my thing is when I work with my clients, it's like, let's plan it then. Everybody like to plan things. You want to plan your vacation, okay? You want to plan your birthday parties. I'm the same way. I love to plan a good party. So listen, what we're gonna do is we're gonna plan our money. We're gonna plan these things out. We're gonna
that's a good
allocate
reframe. That's a really good reframe to go
it.
from budget.
It is.
That's a good reframe. I'm
Yes.
gonna use that. I'm gonna plan it.
You want to plan it. It's all in your mindset. If you think in your mind that I'm planning my money so that I can have a better future, so that I can have financial favor, and that's the name of my book. I forgot to mention I have a book, Finding Favor in Your Finances.
That's all.
That's the title of my book is the favor that you can find in your finances by going through these strategies. Now, it's 7 steps in my book, but one of the steps is to always be a giver. Again, I am a Christian, so I'll just briefly say the Lord said, if you read the Bible says, give unto him or your own earth, who your church that you are religiously associated with. Give your tenth. Okay, it's just a tenth of everything that God has given you. And that's the beginning. That's the first, your first fruits. These are things that you can read in the Bible. Now, in my financial favor, in my coaching program, I do use biblical principles. So, one of the things that we talk about is mindset, is reading the Bible, is going by what the Bible says about our money, giving. So giving is a good strategy. And even if you don't want to give to a religious organization, that's fine. Just give back to the community. Give back to your favorite nonprofit organization, whether it be homelessness, battered women's shelter, whatever it is that you love and care about. Just give with a giving heart. And when you give back out, it always come back to you tenfold, you know. So you want to make that a strategy, a part of your money plan. And then the second thing is just one of the things that we talk about is debt. A lot of us is in the mountains of debt. And so we got to get out of spending, spending, spending before we're saving, saving, saving. So we got to get things in order. A lot of times when it deals with our money is out of order because we're spending before we're saving, right? And we're using credit before the money comes in. So when you use credit to purchase things and you haven't even got paid for it, it puts you in this bad cycle because the debt will get larger and larger, and then you'll get to a place where you can't even pay the minimum on the credit cards. And if that happens, then you're not paying it down. You're never going to get out of debt. So again, been there, done that. I was in $30,000 worth of debts, before I started my business. And that was another area of my finances that God had to open my eyes and say, listen, when your father died and you didn't even have a savings account that you could pull from to help with the funeral expenses, and I didn't. Okay, I'm in the financial industry, and I didn't even have the savings that I was telling everybody else to do. So I was like, Lord have mercy, we're doing this wrong. It's out of order. I was out of order, and a lot of us are out of order. So one of the things, another strategy we do, we got to get in order. What we need to do first, what we need to do second, what we need to do third, and then once everything is in order, we'll start seeing that favor. We'll start seeing that the future, that peace around our money. And that's all that I hope to do in my program.
That I love all of that, first off, especially the giving part. I
Yeah.
think people are so afraid of giving, they don't recognize that that's what's keeping their blessings from flowing, right?
Yeah.
Because money has its own energy. If you
Yeah.
hang on to it, it's not doing what it's supposed to do naturally. It's supposed to be
Hmm.
fluid. It's supposed to come.
Hmm.
Now that doesn't mean get crazy and throw your money everywhere, but it does
Right.
have a certain energy to it that when you give out, it comes back over and over again.
Hmm.
Like you said, with the biblical principles, it's all in alignment. So
Yeah.
I talked about that for sure. What is the one piece of advice you would give somebody who is struggling with this, like just one sound piece of advice where they could start if they've never learned how to even do anything with finances? If this is their first time hearing about it and they want to start right here, right now, what is one piece of advice you would give?
Oh, it's so much. Make a decision. Okay,
Mm,
one thing is so hard for us to do is we know we got to do better. We know the information, and like you said, we they may have heard it, or if they haven't heard it, another thing is just to make a decision that you want to do the best you can in your money. You want to be in a place where you're comfortable, you're at peace, you're not worried about money. You want to be at a place where you know you got money going to a savings account somewhere, and God forbid if something happens, you'll be able to pull from that. I always tell people set it and forget it. Open you up a high yield savings account that's not within your reach, maybe online, and just put money in there automatically. Automate it. If you have a job and you go to your HR, ask them, can you do two accounts? One to your main account, one to this separate savings account. You should always, always, always be saving some type of money. If I had to tell myself something when I was 18, 20 years old, for my young people that may be listening to this, or even your parents, tell your young people this:
yes.
save some money. Please, just if it ain't but $20, if that's all you can do, put it away. Don't even think about it. Automate it. If you automate it, it's set it and forget it. And just let it go there. Let it sit there. Let it grow. And if you really want to get fancy, honey, open you up a investment account, and I can help you with that too, honey. The
Yes.
stock market is another place. It's just a mystery to a lot of us because we don't know about it, so we're afraid of it. But it's nothing to be afraid of because, truth be told, let me tell you, some of our counterparties, some of the wealthiest people in the world, made their wealth from the stock market. If you know what I'm talking about, and if you want to get into it, it's something that we have to, make a decision to learn it. Make a decision to learn it. And the second thing I would say, and this is something for just around the mindset, is say positive affirmations. I know,
Yes.
Brittany, you may be familiar, but
Yes.
I say affirmations all the time during my prayer time, throughout the day, whenever I'm feeling low, whenever my money ain't right, because we all still go through it. But you start saying to yourself the positive affirmations about your money, about yourself, about your mindset, about your intelligence around your money, and things will turn around because it's all in training your mind to think more positively, training your mind to think that I am rich, I am wealthy, I am educated,
Right.
I am abundant. I have all the things that I need. I have all the things that I want. And so, uh, in the show notes, I'm sure Brittany will put in there, I do have a free gift for you all, and it is a list of money affirmations, abundance affirmations that you can say over and over and over every day to yourself. And it also has scripture with the affirmation so that you can find in the Bible, and it's confirmed for you. And I feel like if you do this on a consistent basis every day, that you will see your financial situation turn around. Sometimes automatically, may not automatically. Sometimes you might have to take an additional step, like get some help from someone, from a financial advisor as myself, or anyone that you feel comfortable and trust. But definitely think about putting that, incorporating the affirmations into your daily routine, and that also will help you get on the better track with your finances.
And listen, you got so much good stuff. That part about just the affirmations, Lisa, I'm a neurolinguistic programming master, right? So It's all about reframes. That's why I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
that's a good reframe. Like, because that's all we're doing is reframing our mind to think differently so that we can have a different outcome, right?
Yeah.
And if we
Yeah.
are continuously speaking those things over ourselves, right? This Bible talks about speaking over ourselves, right?
That's right.
Speaking about the positive things about our money and about our situations, it's going to change. It's going deep down
Yes.
into our unconscious mind, what I like to call the soul space, right?
That's
But
right.
speaking that over ourselves over and over again, and it's bound to change. Bound to
Yes.
change, right? Some of us got a couple of
Absolutely.
blockages. Y'all know we talk about
Yeah.
blockages here. We got to
Yeah.
release stuff through all whatever technique you use. Y'all know me. I use a
Yeah.
lot of them. So come on over if you need to release that. Get out of them financial blocks and all that,
Yeah.
right? Because it's
Yeah.
blocking money, it's blocking your love, it's blocking who knows what, all your blessings, right? We're gonna clear that
That's
thing out.
right.
But
That's
Lisa,
right.
thank you for coming on. Let them know how they can find you, what you have going on. I'm going to make sure that they get your gift with the affirmations and the scriptures that go behind that. But let the people know how they can get in touch with you if they need to.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Brittany. It's been such a pleasure chatting with you. You all can definitely connect with me at my website, favorinyourfinances.com. That's favorinyourfinances.com. There you will find 20 money motivational tips, okay, to help you get to your financial favor. And then we'll also have an opportunity to connect with me via my calendar. So I love to talk to people and chat with people about their situation, whatever they're going through. So you can schedule some time with me. We can chat it up. I don't charge to talk. I like to talk, okay? So we can talk on the phone for 20, 30 minutes or so. If it get juicy, it may be an hour. Listen, I'm not one of them coaches that's going to cut you off and be like, I got to go. No, unless there's something going on. But anyway, I would love to connect with you that way. I'm also on social media at Lisa Stringer Bailey on Facebook and Manage Money Matters on IG.
You guys already know. Tune in for our next week, 5:30 Thursday, every single Thursday at 5:30. We will see you guys later. Bye.